Hi my creatives, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing good. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. If you haven't done so, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to be notified so as to be notified whenever I post a new video. So today we're going to learn how to make this dress. It's like a shirt dress with gathers at the hem at the bottom, and it has normal sleeves, then it's a button up. So yeah, and it has pockets at the top of the fabric. What do you call that? Like those really nice pockets. All right, stay tuned and I hope you do enjoy. All right, let's get started. I folded my fabric into two. I'm cutting the back first, then I'll use it to trace out the front. So I folded it. My center back is going to be folded, so yeah, fold into two, but the measurements we're going to be taking are going to be divided into 4. So here I just drew my starting line. You can call it the shoulder line. So I'm going to mark my shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is, mine was I think 15 inches. So that was, half of it is 7.5, so that's what I marked there. And then went down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant, and then went down again by 7.5, but I decided to add the other half of the inch to make it 8 inches because I do not have the measurements of the clients. And yeah, so I estimated with her measurements because she's not available. So yeah, so now I'm marking the neck width. I used 3 inches for the width, and then the depth I went down by 1 inch only. So yeah, and then use that to curve it. I just curved it right in there. And then after that I used my shoulder. I decided to draw my shoulder slant, and that's it. And then added half an inch around the shoulder slant for seam allowance. So that's what I'm doing now, as you can see. And then after that, remember I went down by 8 inches. So I decided to do this thinking I was working on the front panel first. So I drew in the half an inch curve, and the half an inch at the midpoint, and then drew in the armhole curve, but then that's only done at the front. So later on I remembered I'm working on the back, so I ignored it while cutting, but I will redo exactly that on the front panel. Yeah, so and it's done for ease. If you didn't know, it's to ease movement of the arm around the armpit area. Okay, so now I'm going down to mark my waist, shoulder to waist measurement, which is, I marked it at 16 inches and then drew that line, and then went down from shoulder to hip. I marked it at 25 inches, and then yeah, for the dress I marked 36 inches, but it's going to have what do you call it, like pleats at the bottom as the hem. It's going to be a design, so I added half an inch, which will be used for joining those pleats at the bottom, which will be 5 inches long. So yeah, back to the bust area. I'm marking my bust measurement at the chest line. So you get your your bust measurement, bust circumference, divided by 4. Mine was 30. I think I used 34. Yeah, 34 inches. Divided by 4 is what I marked at the chest. And then at the waist I used I think 31. Yeah, 31 inches, divide by 4. And now at the bottom, at the hips and the bottom, I used 40 inches, divide by 4. So whatever I got for the hips is what I marked on the hem also. So that's 10 inches. And then after that, I'm adding 2 inches for my sewing allowance. And normally I add 1 inch or 1.5 inches, but for now I'm adding 2 inches because, like I said, I do not have the exact measurements of the client. I'm using estimations according to how she looks like. Yeah, so I'm adding an extra half an inch to make it 2 inches so that in case it does not fit, there is enough room to adjust, to either make it big, and if she's a bit slightly, I'm sure it will either fit her or it will be slightly bigger. I'm not worried about it being small. Yeah, I'm worried about it being bigger, but I always leave enough seam allowance for the person because you never know. People tend to gain some weight. So yeah. And I'm done marking it all out here. I'm just making sure my curve is right for the armhole depth. And then, yeah, I'm just making sure it's at the 1 inch. 1 inch. If you want to draw the curve very well and you probably don't have a ruler, that French curve, sorry, you mark 1 inch from the corner. So yeah, here I'm just perfecting my curve. For the back, now I've decided to ignore the half an inch that I had gone in at the armhole midpoint. I'll remember this is the back panel that I decided to work on first. So yeah, I ignored that and I'm going to do it for the front panel instead. So here I'm just cutting it out, cutting out the back panel. Remember, like I told you, it has to be on fold. This one has to be on fold, unlike the front panel, which will be separated because it's going to be a button down shirt dress. Yeah, with gathers or pleats at the bottom as their design. So yeah. And guys, if you've made it this far in the video, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. We are growing, we are coming to 500 subscribers, and that's a really big step for me because yeah, we made, oh, and by the way, we made a year. The YouTube channel made a year in this month. I'm really proud. So yeah, and thanks to you guys, because if it wasn't for your support, I don't think I would have gone this far. I didn't think it would even come to a year. So thanks again, guys, and let's keep growing together. All right, guys. So here, yeah, I marked 3 inches that I'm going to leave out before I mark all my measurements. And these 3 inches are going to be what do you call it? They're going to be where I'm going to put my buttons, like that panel. I don't know what to call it, but that, yeah, that thing that you fold in, the fabric that you fold in to place your buttons or your pins, whatever. So that is it. I decided to leave 3 inches. So the rest of the bit, I'm just tracing it out. I'm really sorry you couldn't like the thing, what I was doing moved out of frame and I did not notice. But there is not really much I'm doing up there. Okay, that's where I'm doing the most part for the front panel. But like I told you, it's with the armhole and then the neck depth only. Those are the only 2 things I'm changing. For the armhole, I am going in by half an inch. If you've watched my previous videos, whenever I make a fitted dress, a shirt, things like that, I always go in by half an inch for ease at the armhole midpoint. And then for the neckline, I went down by 4 inches. So, and the width was 3 inches. Then the rest, I just traced it all out. Yeah, I just traced out all the rest, all the other things. So don't really feel bad that you missed out so much, no. If you've watched me draft up basic bodies before, you know what when I say it, you know that's what I did. If you've watched any of my tutorials that are in that basic bodies form, yeah, you know what I am doing. So that's all I changed. The rest I just traced it out, but also keep in mind when you're drafting, keep in mind that whatever horizontal measurement you start, you're going to make, you start it on the line after where you're going to place your buttons. I hope you get what I'm saying. Like the straight line I drove, the 3 inches, that's where you start your measurements from. Don't include the 3 inches while measuring. So that's why I decided to just trace it out. And if you saw clearly, you realize my tracing, my back pattern was 3 inches away from the center front. Yeah, so from the center front, mark 2.5 inches or 3 inches, whatever, depending on the material that you have, the amount of fabric you have. So yeah, do that, and then from the 3 inches, from the 3-inch line, that's where you start all your horizontal measurements. Yeah, so I'm done. Here I'm just marking the wrong side and the front side because they tend to confuse because they quite look similar. So here I'm just I cut out my pockets. If you've watched any of my tutorials, you know how I cut pockets, whether for shorts, whether for dresses. Yeah, so these pockets that I cut out are like those of a dress, over short, over female short. They're the ones I decided to cut out, and then also cut out lining for them because they're going to be on top of the fabric, on top of the dress. So yeah, I decided to get lining for them and line them together where I have been pointing. So here I'm just going to show you where to place them. I've overturned them with lining. So yeah, now remember we have 3 inches from the center front, so mark those 3 inches and then mark half an inch away from the 3 inches. So here I'm marking the waistline, normally where I start my pockets, and that's 8 inches from the armhole. And then my half an inch, I first marked 1 inch, but when I was going to stitch, I decided to use half an inch away from the button line. So that means I marked 3.5 inches away from the center front, placed my pocket, and then it went all the way to the other side, and I'm repeating the same for this. But then at the top to bottom, to know where to place it, just mark 8 inches from your armhole up to down 8 inches, and that's where your pocket can start. Because even normally when we are making the other normal pockets that are hidden on the inside of the fabric, we mark 8 inches below. So this is it. I'm done. I'm also done folding in the button allowance, let me call it that, because I failed to get a name for it. So I'm done folding in the button where the buttons will go. I've folded it in by half an inch, and then on top it's 1 inch, 1.25, something like that. So yeah, and then I also added my pocket on top, right on top. I did a top stitch still, and then now I'm going to place it together with my the back panel and the front panel. So that's the back panel with the right side facing up. Now I'm going to place the front panel with the right side facing down. Make sure the right sides are facing the good sides are facing each other. So that means the pockets will be on the inside. So yes, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to join my shoulder. You can see it sits perfectly on top of each other. So I'll join my shoulder. After joining my shoulder, I'll join my sides. And then after that, I'm going to join the sleeves. Guys, I have a tutorial on how to draft your sleeve pattern, on how to cut it, and how to place it on the fabric, how to sew it on top of on the fabric, sorry. So if you haven't watched that, please go to one of my, I'm going to see if I can link it in the description below, and then you see it. Yeah, so this is the finished, okay, not really finished, but we are getting there. So this is how it looks so far, and it looks really, really good. As you can see, the sleeves are joined, the pockets are joined, the button area is joined. So all we are remaining with is the neckline. And then the hem, remember I told you I'm going to add pleats to it. For the neckline, I'm still undecided on whether to use bias or just put lining. I still haven't decided on what to do. So yeah, so this is, I cut out a very long strip and joined it. Yeah, I cut out 2 long strips and joined them at the middle. So they're the ones I'm going to use to pleat, to make the pleats. Oh, sorry. So yeah, for the inches, I calculated the width of the dress, that is the 40 inches plus I think it was about 41, 40, about 43 inches. Then I added an extra 24, 25 inches to the strip. Then I decided to get the middle part of that's the center back. So the center back, I notched it and then got the center of this pleated strip, the long strip, and pin them together. And now I'm just going to go on and make pleats, tiny pleats. You can measure them, but I've been doing pleats for quite a while, and I can actually see or estimate the size with my eyes. So yeah, that's why I don't need to really measure. So yeah, I'm just going to do this all the way around, and then after pinning up to the end, I'm going to stitch it down and then hem it and then work on the neckline, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. Yeah, so this is the finished product. As you can see, I added my pleats, and at the collar I used I put a mandarin collar, or you can call it a bishop collar. Yeah, so it's what I used, using the same fabric still. I then added the buttons, those, okay, they're not really buttons, they're like pins, those things you just press on. I use press on buttons. So yeah, you can see the pleats are added. They look really beautiful. Yeah, so thanks guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.